that's actually awesome, like to me, is the Enchantress ban. We discussed it before.
Yeah.
With Vici's like game style, the junglers will be really important. We haven't seen an Enchantress ban the whole tournament, but now it comes. So that means that both teams are really ready for each other.
And we get the Shadow Shaper and the Air Shaker again. No surprises here. These teams are picking whatever actually fit their playstyle and they've been picking so far. A little bit of information which we haven't talked about. Newbee and Vici Gaming, they face each other 20 times. The score favors Vici Gaming 12-8, but the last 9 were 6-3 to Newbee. So Vici Gaming had the early advantage in terms of the previous duels. Newbee seems to have the numbers recently.
I think I probably would have gone for the Shadow Shaman over Nature's Prophet. The thing is, if they lose with the first pick Nature's Prophet, they're going to have to ban it out. Probably for like game 2
or take it themselves.
Or take it themselves again, but typically teams don't do that.
You can already see the fighting power from Newbee. I mean, they have a global presence with A Ultimate plus Nature's Prophet. This sets up perfectly for a Spectre pick, by the way, if they want to get that. We've seen Hao play Spectre against EG.
And also Void. We've actually seen this kind of combo with DK a little bit. You know, just being able to snipe someone off very quickly can shut down someone's push, you know, even when you're just level 6.
Those are heroes that are really good at defending towers. When you're going to have a 5-man lineup showing under a tower, having the Nature's Prophet Ultimate plus the AA Blast is just insane. Be good to defend. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Newbee decides to go for something they picked already, which is the Spectre as a later pick, because then again they can do that on the offlane like they did before, and also they have immense global potential. And that's the thing against pushing lineups, that global might work, because pushing is all about, okay, everyone is on the lane, suddenly you have 5 people pushing your towers, you either have to rotate, or if you can apply pressure globally, you can deter the push or just start the fight on your own terms. And bringing all that might be a strat that Newbee can say, okay, this is the way we stop the global push.
And the thing when you push is like, one thing about push, what makes pushing that good is that you don't let your opponent farm, because they have to, as you said, to TP, etc. Nature's Prophet and A, they don't have to TP. They can just keep on farming and just land their spells and open whenever they're going to crush the fight. So really good approach, like so far so good for Newbee.
Yeah, at the same time, they might not want to pick Spectre because Vici can't end the game in 15 minutes, and at that point, he might not even have his drums completed, or she rather, and they don't have that much wave clear right now, which is always a concern facing Vici.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think that Spectre is actually a good fighter in a sense. I mean, obviously we always see the late game Radiant Spectre, but a Spectre with early drums and phase boots, he hits really hard. And
yeah, you max Desolate,
yeah,
and suddenly in the team fight you can do immense amount of damage.
He's a really good fighter, even early on.
Yeah. I'm also a fan of the Orb of Venom there, because you can, essentially the radius of Desolate seems bigger than it is, but when you're in a team fight, you just move a little bit away from your allies and you're taking a lot of damage. We do see the Ember Spirit ban for Vici Gaming, I mean for Newbee, so Vici Gaming is not going to get that hero. If I'm Vici Gaming, I'm going to say okay to that. I don't care that much, I guess.
Ember counters Prophet in many ways. He can solo kill Prophet anytime. If Prophet is split pushing. And also, we've seen only, I think, Battle Fury's Ember. I don't think we've seen okay, Sing went for Viscali, but besides that, it's mainly the Battle Fury build Ember, and that's really good versus Prophet when he pushes the summon, so.
We've been talking about how important positioning is in the early game for both teams if you want to push. A hero like both Wraith King and Vengeful Spirit, both of those supports are supports that Newbee actually went for in combination with the Ancient Declaration before. Which one of those two would you say is most likely, or neither maybe?
It's difficult to call them right now. I think Vengeful would work really well with Newbee. It's really good with AA, and just the auras would work, but I think it's a bit early for them to get that. They might want to get something against the Brewmaster, because they really have nothing to fight that Brewmaster right now. It's an awesome pick for Vici Gaming.
Well, Doom is still in.
Doom is still in, Skyras is still in, yeah.
I mean, if it was on the other side and Vici Gaming were playing the Nature's Prophet, I'd expect an Orchid coming out, because that's how Sylar ended up playing that. But because the Newbee have the Nature's Prophet, you know, you normally have seen Nature's Prophet kind of get into the Necro book, and you want that silence versus Brewmaster. So Vici Gaming are probably going to change some of the ideas that Newbee have. and we'll see what they're going to pick up
So
to handle the brew.
whenever I see Vici Gaming going for these kind of lineups with you have a lot of tankiness out in the front, they bring the Brewmaster, they bring the Death Prophet, they create this wall of heroes that can tank pretty much everything and just push your towers. I kind of wish the Storm Spirit could come back because he's one of those heroes that can jump through that line and get to the weak support. The Shaker will want to be separated for the team, and that might be his doom. If you can jump on the Shaker and remove him from the equation, suddenly they don't have that backup plan if things go wrong. The same with the Rasta. If you can stop him because before he pops the wards, you want a team fight.
At the same time, Storm Spirit is just so vulnerable to early rotations, which can't be punished by FY and Fenrir, and its team can't necessarily follow up. Maybe with global ultimates like AA and H but you can pretty much dump any hero into that mix.
Well, if you get a Blink on Lion, he can also jump to the back and perhaps make something happen. But it's a Lion pickup. A little bit unexpected, but a lot of disable coming with that hero, of course.
This is the answer they needed to the Brewmaster, but it's gonna come to the timings. We've seen MMY yesterday. Awesome timing on the Hex. Yeah. Let's hope for Newbee that Sansheng or Banana, I don't know who's gonna grab that Lion, will be able to actually Hex the Brewmaster as fast as MMY will have.
I'd be really scared of a Pugna pick if I were Newbee. They have 3 in heroes. Lion's a pretty heavy caster, and Vici has like a really strong early push too.
Oh yeah, the Pugna pick is actually awesome right now for Vici Gaming.
We haven't seen that come out for many of the teams in the main event, but it was played in the group stages.
It was played a lot. It was banned all the time in second phase versus those teams. So, especially versus Vici Gaming actually.
Well, we'll see if they take it. And how would you respond if you were Newbee if they ended up getting that? Would you just be like, oh dear? Or is it?
It's tough because if it's a Pugna, then it's most likely a safe lane Pugna. Or it could be. The thing is that Newbee supports, they're good at laning. I mean, Line is less good at laning than AA is, but they're not really good at roaming early on. I don't think Newbee is going to look for early kills. They will wait the right timings.
It's the rOtk Clockwork. Worked twice yesterday, why not try it again?
So the reasoning behind the Clockwork is like the Brewmaster can't jump first because he exposed himself to death against the Lion, against the burst damage generally that Newbee has. So Clockwork would be opening the fight. If he can on Lion, that's the best target obviously. So Brewmaster can get his split off no matter what happens. I really like the double initiation from Vici Gaming. They're going to be looking for fights.
I think almost it's a necessity these days in these high skill games to actually have 2 people that are able to initiate, because one you can play around so easily. So Vici Gaming are going to pick up the Clockwork and the Brewmaster, and we've had a lot of success with people that have 2 good initiations, and you never know, later on in the game that Shadow Shaman and Earthshaker also benefit from blinks, but that would have to be a pretty long game for maybe that to happen.
Yeah, well,
sorry, go ahead.
I think they can really punish an Aegis Prophet pick with the clock. I think Sylar had like 11 deaths in one game, and I think that's really one of the keys to beating an Aegis Prophet.
And it's a Newbee life stealer. And this works really well. I mean, when you have heroes like Clockwork, Brewmaster, Earthshaker, if you get the jump on them, you can pop the Rage, and Brewmaster, for example, doesn't have his ultimate. These are strength heroes with quite a lot of HP, but not much armor, and they can just like putting yourself on top of the Clockwork stops the Clockwork from initiating. 3-0 with this hero for Newbee. They really play well.
You're immune to comps when you rage right now. That was no change. So
yeah, they picked Lifestealer versus EG, like versus Naga, Sand King, very evasive heroes, and it wasn't really the best pick. But here, Lifestealer is actually awesome because Shadow Shaman, Shaker, and Clockwork, they have nothing versus the next. They have the hook shot, that's not even gonna work. Like they really have nothing versus the next. It's gonna be
they don't
really
have any way to get a Lifestealer into the fight. They just ban out the puck. Lion, maybe
will
get a
Nature's
blink.
Prophet bomb.
Yeah, but they really need something else. I agree.
They
I
need
would agree.
something
They need a co-op. They need something to actually get the Lifestealer in the fights. That's a really good point because the first team that initiates is most likely gonna win the fight here.
Yeah, if you just walk up, I mean, they'll just drop Shadow Shaman, they'll just drop
It's a Sylar long druid. Nice goal, James.
So James called it.
always a potential chance of it coming back, certainly. Sylar, one of the best lone druid players. As you heard, his farm is out of control. How it was also mentioned that he farms better, maybe one of the best.
The classic Nex Lone Druid, they sort of counter each other's. Lone Druid can root the Nex, but on the other hand, like Nex just destroys the bear. So it's actually very. It was a classic TI3 matchup.
Yeah. That's wow. We don't see any trade up, super aggressive pushing lineups out of either of these teams. They all can do some, especially Vici, but I don't think we're gonna see a 15-minute game today.
No, most likely not.
Whose lineup do you prefer?
LPGs, it has just a stronger push. Newbee just don't have the AoE clear to deal with it.
I like Newbee. I think they can move around the map and just the global potential is too strong.
I think a lot of it is on the Lifestealer and the Alchemist, Hao and Mu, their combo being able to get the initiation. But we'll find out. So let's send it over to the commentators who are going to introduce the first match of the grand finals. Over to Toby and Lumi.
Thank you very much. It is wonderful to be here for a TI4 Grand Final here in Key Arena, Seattle. I'm Toby1 and Lumi. We'll be taking you through the entire best of 5 series for this Grand Final. Lumi, I'm looking forward to some amazing games.
Yeah, game one, I expected a lot of push like the analyst says, but it looks like we're going to see a much more balance in the game. We're going to see some push, we're going to see a ton of team fights. We might even go to a 50-minute late game, so I think we have it all, and that's a great game one, right? You want to see it all, and I think this is going to be it.
Yeah.
Looks like nobody's do any level 1 smoke. The only aggressive move is rOtk. Looks like he's straight up TP to the bottom. This is going to be a very expensive ward, but he's going to get one down without the enemy team having any vision.
This I think is really important for it. I was actually looking at the lone druid pickup as the last one and thinking, okay, you look at the lineup from Newbee now. They could run easily an aggro trial lane with Alive still on the front lines, Ancient Apparition as well as Lion right behind him. They could cause a lot of havoc up on that top lane. So the bear becomes a bit of a filter up on that top lane. They're combining it up with FY as well as Fenrir's control power. They should be able to survive that top lane. If you had any other hero which has to come to the front lines to farm or be involved, you'd be finding yourselves in a really, really risky position where you could give away first blood. So they basically have the top lane as far as like balance goes, as long as they don't get caught out of position. They look towards the bottom lane. You get this nice, really aggressive ward. It blocks the pull point, so there's no secondary option if the top lane goes bad for Newbee, unless they come down here with sentry wards. But more importantly, it keeps an eye out for what Xiaowei's got planned with his little treants as well. So rOtk or Super, it looks like they're switching around their, they're switching, no, they're actually just handing over some sentry wards. But it will be rOtk on the off lane, trying to get a good start, and Super will be there in the middle lane.
Toby, sounds like you like Vici's lanes, elite.
I'm loving Vici's lanes. I really think the lone druid pickup as the last one was a really smart idea. The only thing that could bite him in the butt is when the lifestealer gets really, really big. As Mad was saying, the bear is just going to get devoured by that lifestealer. They cannot let that lifestealer have room. They got to look at early Maelstrom, Basher on that bear, and really get up in the face there of Newbee.
Yeah, I think farming on the top lane is going to be quite difficult for Vici Gaming. With that said, though, Sylar is working with essentially 2 heroes, so his last hit damage is very high. Should he get out of position, the Earthshaker Fissure is going to bail him out. So let's see who's going to actually get the first kill here. I imagine it's going to go towards the side of Newbee, but how defensive can Vici get?
Man, they're going to be so defensive. The problem is they've got no camps to pull. They need to get rid of these sentry wards. But to do that, they have to basically contest up against Sansheng as well as Banana. And that's not going to be an easy thing. FY, surprisingly for his first ability, he goes in for the shot. So he's just going to try and push Hao out of the lane and the Fissure spam as well. I get a feeling they're burning through a lot of clarities just to try and get these Newbee supports to burn through consumables. Because what they really bring towards this top lane, everyone's got a set of tangos and there's a salve there, but that's basically all she wrote. So if you get these guys low enough, then it's going to be really risky for Newbee to try and dive underneath, either be it a tier 1 tower or go deeper inside the Vici Gaming jungle.
What's worth, they're actually farming quite okay on the top lane. Sylar is getting up to the creeps, and that's kind of what you're looking for. The trap from the Fissure not going to be there. Yeah, they're just completely throwing out nukes left and right and trying to out-harass them. There is a smoke of the sea for Vici Gaming support, and with the Earthshaker, you always have a shot to actually go gank mid. And I think the key thing right now is they finally found that sentry. They will be able to deward it. They will be able to pull at minute 2, and that should help Vici's defensive trialing a little bit better.
Another lane we should probably mark is middle lane. Super already cracking his 10 CS and finally has his bottle coming out because he bought the Stout Shield. It took a little bit longer than it took for Mu, who's playing there as the Alchemist. Oh, hello top lane. That's a real bad position right now for Banana. Gets it on Sylar. He's got to get his way out there. There's no tangos. Hao's trying to help him out. He's locked in the corner. First blood. Goes away at Vici Gaming. It's not over yet. FY still 3-line profit. He's actually going to come into this fight. Xiaowei wants to turn the tides of this fight. Fenrir now on the run. Chilling Touch is on cooldown. Cold Feet is available now, but we will see Sylar and Fenrir back up. So it's a 1-1 trade, but Xiaowei, he had to TP in and then uses a scroll to get back straight to bottom lane. They don't want to miss any CS down here.
Very surprised that Xiaowei actually TP in without having access to Sprout. So he essentially teleported in and added 2 or 3 right clicks. Got the kill though, got the experience. That's the key. He's now going back to the bottom lane.
I'm not seeing it as a huge win, especially when this is happening on bottom lane. Smoke movement is going to be perfect, and it's going to set up now. Alchemist will die in the middle lane, but Xiao Wei locked inside the cogs with the shackles and the shock, and the battery assault rocket. It's actually not even battery assault, it was just plain rocket. They get themselves the kill. And the Alchemist, in the meantime, he's actually soloed up by a DD Brewmaster in the mid lane. So Vici Gaming are now sitting at a 3-1 advantage 3 minutes in.
Very, very good movement coming out from Vici early game, especially that gank on the bottom lane. Not only did they get the kill, you gotta keep in mind that FY is playing a hero that really needs to reach level 6. So getting any kills like that, especially when you only like a 2v1 situation, the experience share is very going in the favor of Vici Gaming. And let's see if they continue this aggressive movement. FY is gonna find Sansheng. He does have the boots advantage, but rOtk is very far away. Don't think they're really gonna get the kill. I say that though, there is no boots on Sansheng. He can keep chasing this. The right click of Shadow Shaman.
He needs 2 more attacks at least to get Sansheng down, but he can't reach him. And there's not enough mana for a shock. Not at this point, but you're realizing just how powerful that rocket can be also early on. rOtk actually favoring the rocket over the battery assault, even though if he doesn't manage to catch Xiao Wei inside a cogs, high-level battery assault will be an instant kill on that prophet.
Yeah, what Newbee is looking for right now is to stabilize the lane. The first step is having how to finish that phase boost. Once you have the phase boost finish, you're essentially immune. Mid lane is going to be a lot of trade-off here and there. Looks like 2 heroes running to the rune at top. Nobody finds it. Super comes in and clap. Looks like he's going to threaten the kill. He's going to get a crit. He's actually going to split. That's going to be a kill if the dragon doesn't deny it. The dragon, they're just sitting there and they're not denying. The dragons are too slow.
That last little walkover, the dragons noticed at the last moment. Now up on top lane, Fissure on Hao, but there's rotation support coming over from the Lion. And Hao underneath his own tier 1 tower is going to be okay.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, rOtk invis up, and there's going to be support coming in from FY.
Right next to him, just
Easy cog! And here comes FY. He's going to do a ton of damage to that Ether Shock. Where's the Shackle? He's not using it. There you go. Finally, Shackle. rOtk will pick up the kill. And the important experience and levels are coming in. rOtk hitting level 6, so he can start rotating around, and that's going to free up the lane for FY to actually sit here and get more experience.
Man, this movement from Vici Gaming is brilliant, and Super, like, knowing how far he can push it up against Mu, realizing an Alchemist is literally acid spray and a concoction. He's got nothing else to really try and stop a Brewmaster, and when Brewmaster splits, there is actually nothing that stops him. You have to tank it all up, and he's not level 6 yet, so there's no Chemical Rage to try and protect this Alchemist. He's very, very weak at this stage of the game.
This gank has to work. The one big difference between the two supports of both teams that Banana and Sansheng, they play much more defensive than FY and Fenrir. So you can see that FY is, essentially ganking multiple lanes multiple times, whereas the Newbee supports are kind of hanging out on the top lane, and that's really just a different playstyle of the two teams' supports. But that really is making a big deal. Obviously, we see rOtk is doing such a good job on the bottom lane, now almost hitting level 7. I wonder when he's actually going to make his first rotation in gank.
Well, I got a feeling he'll TP top in just a couple of moments' time, because Sylar, well, he actually just resummoned his best. This would be a big kill if they can claim it, but the Vortex goes down, which means Sylar knows the Sansheng and Banana are hanging inside the tree line, while in middle lane, Mu actually popped off his Chemical Rage right now, but FY, the Fissure, he needs to get range of the Shackles, and here it comes FY, he's still up there, now Mu throws out the stun, double stun with a rocket from rOtk, comes all the way from the bottom lane to get the kill, Super diving in deep, there is on cooldown for Sansheng, held inside the Shackles as well, Totem Stomp, there's enough with the clap for Super, caught inside the Sprout, taking a large amount of damage from the tier 1 tower, but he will back up to his side of the river, and not only that, he's going to pick up the illusion rune on the
lane
top.
though, Sylar in a lot of trouble, he's trying to run away really quickly, there's danger on Hao, one more hit, the Wrath of Nature is going to come through and get the kill. And again, any kill going to the supports on Newbee side is going to be huge as well. If you look at their item progression, there is Banana sitting at 500 gold, so he's going to get the boots. And it looks like Sansheng has no boots. This is a problem. When you're trying to assist and teleport to the safe lanes and the mid lanes that help your other players, having that mobility and having the mana to TP in is huge. And right now, these supports are very under-leveled, they're very under-farmed, and it's hard to make a recovery in the early game when your supports can't make those plays.
Super, he's not going to go again. He does have split available, and he's watching Mu here in the middle lane, but he's more damage, especially going up against a Chemical Rage Alchemist, not that great. Fenrir is also watching the top lane, Sylar. He's still fighting without a bear. This is his massive problem right now. 50 seconds until he can have the potential and tangle back up again. So Fenrir has to sit here and basically babysit Sylar, so Sylar doesn't fall behind in the farm. This is the most important thing for him right now.
if this was a boxing fight, I feel like it's Newbee that's really cowering. They took a really big right. Look at Mu on the mid lane. He has a Bracer and Alchemist. He's simply afraid. The hook's gonna come in right now. The Cog's gonna be ready. Mu's gonna charge up his stun, but I'm not sure if he's gonna make it out there. The tower is helping out. Tower aggro gets shifted, and now the split's gonna come out. Mu's gonna try to run away from the rest of his team. He's gonna go down as a result. That Bracer did not save him. You do not get Bracers on Alchemist simply because you don't really need it in normal games. It seems like he's just really afraid of the rotation of Vici, and rightfully so, because they are 8-2.
What also really hurt him was the fact that Banana, he could only get one person on that impale, and because of that, we still saw rOtk freely move around. Another rotation from Vici Gaming, and rOtk coming from the angle, which you'd be least expecting. He literally just hooked in from like the ancient area on the top lane for a hero who's been on the bottom lane the entire time now. How? He got entangled up, and that may be enough time holding him there. If they get another entangle here, he's going to be embed that already. He may be regretting that one right now. He's already used his rage, but no TP coming off the back of it. He's still got 4 1-charger super. He's looking for some kind of extra crit. Diving on here, he's got 8 through the belt, so Open Wound's not going to stop him here. Cloud 1 second away, and that'll be the kill for the Cloud. How's out of range, and now Super, he's in too deep. The creep wave is blocking him in the corner. He's trying to find a way out, but no amount of movement speed is going to save him from that. Can't hide inside the tree line. Xiaowei again TPing in to help out for another kill to try and get Newbee back in advantage of this game.
Great bait from Hao and great rotation. They got a lot out of that fight. Experience is going to be the key. But speaking of experience, look at the bottom lane. FY hits level 6, and that means your towers are going to go down if it's Newbee. So I imagine FY is either going to just push bottom straight up, or he's going to go for a gank on another lane and then push afterwards. Mass Serpent Wards is going to be the name of this entire series. Look towards Shadow Shaman doing a lot of work for both teams. He might be in a little bit of trouble right now, though.
Yeah, Sansheng's coming over, and there's TP coming in from Hao. They want to get him out. TP. Well, they don't have a stun. There's no stuns.
Great TP.
It's actually a major problem here from the Newbee lineup. Like on the third pick, they went for the line, but okay, we need stuns, we need hexes, we need something along this line because none of our other heroes really offer this. And until you get like Abyssal Blade over on Hao, or something like either Scythe, which actually we're not getting out from Xiaowei, is going Phase Boots into the Necro book build instead.
I mean, you have the Lion, and then you also have the Alchemist. They offer some early game stun, but unfortunately neither of them were there. Normally, you don't see those early game TPs too often because a support hero like FY will just die instantaneously, but he just reacted very quickly, and that's why he made it out there. So great play from FY. And, you know, as Matt said on the analyst booth, one of the best support players in the world, if not the best.
I love watching him play, man. And now Vici Gaming, they push themselves up towards the top lane. So smoke movement came out from both FY as well as rOtk. But with no one up here, they just force the tower. Sylar's already got that high-level bear, so Demolish is up on the bear, and they just run through the tower. So bottom lane, Xiaowei and Hao, they're both looking for the trade-off. So a tier 1 for a tier 1 tower trade. Vici Gaming will be happy with this. They obviously won't be ecstatic, but actually, are they going to come back and try and defend this? rOtk is moving into a position for a hook shot, but well, Hao's still here. He's hanging around a little bit longer, but he's out of range of the hook shot, so he's okay for now.
Looks like both teams have successfully defended a tower. I think actually Vici Gaming wants to trade, and they will want to keep trading until that Lone Druid hits up to 3,800 gold, and we haven't really looked at his gold count. 2,200 right now. Once Radiance comes online, can you imagine the squishy supports on Newbee side just getting run down by that Radiance Bear? Ancient Apparition as well as Lion. What do they actually do when a Raging Bear charges at you?
Do you still actually want to go for the Radiance Bear? Considering, like, okay, Lone Druid's still meant to be there to control the lifestealer. If you go for Radiance, this is going to put you back on your Basher. It's going to put you back on your extra control abilities on that lifesteal.
I think the fact that you could get it so early is a key, because if he wants Hanamitis, he already has a gold and could have bought it for now. If he wants Maelstrom, he also could buy the parts, so the fact that he's not buying anything, I imagine it's going to be a Radiance. And it's one of those items, the earlier you pick it up, the more effective it will be, and this is a great Radiance timing coming out from Sylar.
Super's looking for an opening with this fresh Blink Dagger of his. He's looking at Hao on the bottom lane, and with support from rOtk, they could have possibly got a kill, but there's an Observe Ward on this bottom lane that's really working overtime. This guy right here is what so many rotations from Vici Gaming that, well, they just keep getting sprung, and Newbee just back themselves up and they fight in what's the safest place they possibly can. And for Hao, that's right under his tier 1 tower.
They are avoiding fights thanks to those wards, but it's a decent goal lead for Vici Gaming right now. Because they have the Shadow Shaman and the Roshan advantage, they could easily sneak into the pit whenever they want and then just steal it. So I feel like Vici still has the better position in this game.
Mu, be careful how long you hang around here. rOtk's moving up. We've even got Couriers delivering in the Blaze of Attack with a Haste Rune. Mu is actually outrunning his own chesty Courier. they'll look towards mid lane now. FY, we still haven't seen these Mass Serpent Wards being committed. For the nice fast level 6 that he got, FY is still being very, very cautious about using these Mass Serpent Wards.
I see it as anytime you save it, you could guarantee another tower afterwards, or maybe even rOtk in this early stage of the game. It looks like he'll drop it right now for the mid lane, but hard to actually push this one here, because here comes everybody of Newbee, and those wards are changing one.
He's looking for the fissure right now. Mu getting shocked up. Massive wards actually, yeah, most of them are already gone. Alchemist just walked up, tanked it up, and farmed it up.
Is under attack.
And that's generally why you don't drop those massive ward unless you really have forced the enemy heroes back. It was a really good asset spray, just really made it difficult for Vici Gaming to commit.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Anytime
attack.
that Super wants to jump in,
Radiant's
he can't.
top
He really
tower is
can't.
under
Link Dagger
attack.
clap into a split. There's really no good answer from Newbee right now, apart from a good quick hex coming out from line. I'm surprised to see that Vici Gaming wasn't as aggressive as they've been so far in this game.
Now, Vici Gaming are coming off worse for the trade. Even Zhao Wei's being a real nuisance.
Dire's
He's got this
bottom
one little
tower is
trinket
under attack.
taking the creep wave on a bit of a tourist trip down through the middle lane. And this is allowing the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane to take a lot of damage. Now, top lane Vici Gaming are looking for some kind of counter initiation. So we've got smoke movement from rOtk as well as Fenrir again. But again, also, Newbee not too far out of position. How's the closest one? And there goes your fissure. Follow up hex, tackles as well. rOtk going to go to the battery. They're trying to get themselves up and locked here. And how? Well, he does have rage, but yeah. Okay, Shadow Shaman will finish the job right there. Fenrir did commit Echo Slam as well.
I'm very surprised that he decided to fight that. He could have infested an enemy creep that just stood there and waited for that creep to come close to his tower. Instead, he decided to rage and open wounds and fight, and you can't fight everything there. So perhaps a misplay coming up from Hao, and that's a key misplay because not only has he died as a carry, he also has lost a tier 1 tower. And speaking of that, the momentum is going towards Vici Gaming. Look at the goal on Lone Druid. He's sitting at 3,700, just a little bit more to that relic.
Then the support's going to be having a lot more problems. Another fissure. That just sets up perfectly. That range on the fissure is just the perfect initiator without having to put your supports at risk. You think Earthshaker, he's a melee hero. Maybe he's not that great for harassing people out of planes or setting up for things because he's not a range guy. But really, with that fissure, you can set anything up.
Yeah, it just really feels like newbies aren't able to really execute a game plan. What they really want to do is have a fairly passive laning phase, make sure everybody's decently level and farm, and as the mid-game chaos happens, that's where you have Zhao Wei coming in with either a Blink Puck or a Prophet, or Hao really joining a lot of fights. Right now, nobody's really initiating fights. They're losing essentially every single lane. My question for Newbee is, how are they going to start recovering? What items are they going to be?
Does he hook shot? Does he hook shot?
No.
Zhao Wei just TP straight out. Yes, he heads towards the top lane to join Hao up here. Maybe they can add some pressure towards the tier 1 tower. But it was rOtk as well as Super trying to rotate themselves around. Another thing we also haven't seen is, like, Hao and Zhao Wei, they're on the same lane right now, but we actually haven't seen a combo either. Like, Infest inside Nature's Prophet is a one.
Mid lane is going to be Hook coming in. Moo's going to get shackled up into Cogs with 3 heroes hitting him, and he's straight up dead. Although the heals of ultimate, not going to be enough.
No. That's still only a level 1. It's not enough for him to really do much there. And Vici Gaming can now force the middle lane on the top lane. The middle lane going Super up and towards the high ground. His Blink is still on cooldown, but out very quick in the Hex.
Yeah, the disparity between the levels of support is just huge right now. Level 8 supports on Vici Gaming and level 5 supports on the side of Newbee. They need level 6s such that they could actually assist the team with burst. They really need burst damage. A brave team becoming mid. What is this about?
Hao, slightly suicidal, visions, hexes, and now the stuns. Hao goes down. Lifesteal unable to survive. Brewmaster already split off, and he's going to move forward. The stun will go over from Banana, making some astonishing up and towards the air. They can actually turn what's 1 into 2 and potentially 3. Another TP's on the way, and the Alchemist instantly pushed back. Echo Slam, Fissure going down. They're going to lose Alchemist. They're going to lose Sansheng as well. Super, the clap, there it is. Actually just rolls him down. Triple kill for Super. And Newbee bringing the supports 1 by 1 to turn this game to go to 2 into Duck Hunter.
The scary thing is FY still has massive reward. If they want to commit for a tier 3 push right now, they can. Looks like they're going to go back and secure the safe Roshan.
They had the full Radiance after that fight, man. They do not want to take any other risk. You take Roshan, you look to your outer towers, and you don't give Newbee any advantage to come back in this. This is the grand final with $5 million for first place. You take no risks if you don't have to.
Also look over to go to FY. He's sitting at 2,700. He could go Blink if he wants. I actually think an Aghanim Scepter will be excellent in this game. You just want tanky, you just want to put down bigger and more awesome wards. And I think he's going to go for that.
At the same time, I believe that you can also understand that with rOtk jumping in like here for this hook shot, you need abilities to keep up with him at the same time. So
I think having another way to jump in and shut down the life flare is going to be excellent. It looks like we see a game up top. It's going to be a TP bomb coming in. Fenrir straight up dead, and that's what they need to keep on doing. Get these pick off. It's going to come in a very expensive trade of a Roshan, but it wasn't like Newbee's going to defend the Roshan anyway, so might as well do something else. And it looks like we are going to see a Blink Dagger coming out FY.
Yeah, he's got to keep up with it. It's actually kind of funny that Seb was talking about this over on the panel. It's the fact that you have Vici Gaming, who was so good initiating. They know how to play up against Nature's Prophet. When they played that EMS 1 finals, they were using Stormspear as well as the Clockwork in combination, having these long jumps in with just 2 heroes, and they'd always be there to back up each other. So you jump yourself in, and you always got a teammate right behind you to follow up with a Hex, follow up with a Control, follow up with some burst damage, and that's exactly what you get with the Blink Dagger over on the Shadow Shaman, the range from the Earthshaker. Soon Fenrir will also complete his own fissure, so that's another hero that can go with the Clockwork. Brewmaster's already going with him in the Blink Dagger, and Lone Druid, well, he's got his bear on the front line, so he's kind of always there.
Yeah, I wonder how Newbee's going to defend the push that's going to be coming their way. They have a couple of tools. They have Atlas Spray coming out for Mood. That's going to weaken them push. They have things like Wrath of Nature as well as Ice Blast. I say that though, look at Sansheng's level.
He's still at level 6.
Where's that level 6?
Not there, man. At least Lions managed to crack level 6, but that's all they've really got. They've put everything else they've got into Prophet, Lifestealer, as well as Alchemist. All at level 1, and even then they're behind Brewmaster, who's level 13, TPing back towards middle lane Super, trying to force Hao as well as this little army of weird Treants to stop them from pushing into that tier 1 around the mid lane. But in the meantime too, Vici Gaming, they're forcing the bottom lane out. So all tier 1 towers are gone for Newbee, the tier 2 towers gone, the middle lane, and Vici Gaming are looking to add a lot more pressure towards this bottom lane. And Mu, Chemical Rage will protect him a little bit from the Radiance right now, but that's all she wrote. He needs the mech up and running.
ROTK is looking for it, he misses the hook.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Fire
attack.
one, you miss one, but they're going to guarantee themselves a tier 2 tower because it looks like Newbee is not even trying to defend this.
Sylar just lost his bear. He didn't want to have that happen. The Ice Blast actually connected on him. He was taking too much damage from the tower. So the bear in the end ended up shattering there. We've got the top tier 2 tower being forced. Hao, Fenrir. He's actually getting mana burn to the back line, so just letting off an easy fissure is not as simple as you'd hope. But Lone Druid already took the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, so Sylar just defends and soaks up the experience.
Vici Gaming completely in control of this game. They're doing whatever they want. They're pushing every tower, they're defending the towers that they care about the most, and their supports are picking up so much farm. I don't know how Newbee's going to make a comeback. How are they going to begin a comeback? I think it has to really come through with those Lifestealer bombs again. Yep. Maybe a little bit more high priority targets. You really can't do it against a Lifestealer, or sorry, you can't do it against an Earthshaker anymore. You can't do it against a Shadow Shaman anymore because they could both blink away. So maybe, and obviously that applies to Brewmaster as well, maybe just try to find that Lone Druid and kill him a couple of times.
If they're going to do that, they need better vision than this. And it might also be a note for Vici Gaming to think about having a gem around this time. Because if you're thinking from Newbee, like you're ahead, you could probably have a nice gem carrier which shouldn't be able to die. You've got a lot of strength heroes which are very, very fat to do such a thing. But main thing is just making sure Newbee doesn't see you moving across the map, so you can't have a good position Lifestealer bottom. You have to guess where you're going, and if you're guessing where you're TPing with Nature's Prophet, that's when things go horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah, it's also the fact that you could, for example, see the Lone Druid up top and maybe just teleport there, but you don't know where his teammate is. You don't want to teleport in and suddenly eat a big dunk from the Earthshaker, so having the vision is necessary, but
Vici's coming high ground.
Their supports just don't have the gold, and well, scratch that. How do you defend your high ground now? Master Mode committed, and the bear is just mauled.
Now he comes rOtk. The Cogs are going to split up Newbee, and the Brewmaster split's already gone. They hold Mu in position, and they're trying to focus down Hao. He's looking for an armor, but the invest inside the Alchemist. They send him up, but they've got to bring him back down again. They're trying to buy time for rOtk. Now Hao jumps out. They're getting stunned up on the outside, so he's low level like Brewmaster. He's able to pick up the kill, Finger of Death, return kill into rOtk. The tower is still not down yet, but the Mana Serpent haven't even really been touched. They're starting to Super. Sylar, his bear is trying to finish the job. Fenrir, he's trying to touch Xiaowei, finishes the job. The tier 3 tower is down as well, but Banana double kill the Necro units. It's actually body blocking up Sylar a little bit, keeping him inside the Acid Spray. It was up to get the kill, and now FY blinks in with Super. Very quick execution to kill offline. Banana.
Sylar, bang! Agent's gonna be removed, he still has Shadow alive. The bear is still alive, that's a critical game. Mu's gonna stun himself. No, he throws out Super. He's gonna be fine. The Radiance is burning him down. They've held us into as well. But this bear is just running rampage in the Radiant base. They cannot hold the bear back. The mech's gonna fly off. Mu. Wow, he's dead.
Yeah, and Sansheng's probably gonna follow the run. He has to back himself out. Hao, very aggressive TP. Sylar trying to get out and successfully does so. There were no stuns left. Vici Gaming, they're able to pick up a couple more kills. Their lone druid killing off Lion again. And also the buybacks coming out during that engagement. You managed to actually force one out from both Xiao Wei as well as one out from the Lion. This is not what Banana wanted to have to do as a support hero. On the bright side for Newbee, there was only the melee racks that was being attacked. So this is going to regenerate. So technically all the damage which Vici Gaming did just then, it's gonna, well, it's only gonna take a couple of minutes before it regenerates back up again, but it's gonna be almost useless, like it never happened.
Yeah, the building damage, it's gonna regen. I see that point, but it's more that the economic damage is really a huge goal swing. If you look at the goal graph, you're seeing a 12,000 goal lead. Yeah. More importantly, that goal lead has transitioned into some huge item pickup. For example, the Spirit Beard just picked up the Assault Cuirass. That's gonna give armor to the team and remove the armor from the building. Vlad's doing essentially the same, more armor buff to Vici Gaming. And I think all the damage essentially is coming out from the Life Stealer right now and those 2 Necro Books. And they don't do well when the enemy have a ton of armor. I see the next push being a lot more lopsided than the successful defense, sort of, for Newbee just now.
Well, it looks like the push is coming right now. Super's on his way with a DD rune inside the bottle and an Aghanim Scepter freshly on that Brewmaster. So he's also got, like, it's a level 2 Aghanim split. rOtk, he's got a lot of life points with that mech 4-star as well as point booster.
He also has double damage.
Yep. That's
By the way, Earthshaker missed an Echo Slam in that last fight because he ran into the Acid Spray and then, you know, the dagger get cancelled. Fenrir is not going to make that mistake.
Looking for the stun on rOtk. Look how far out he's coming. He's so far out. The Hex on the high ground. That's still here. And Fisher blocking Hao in with the Cox as well. This is not where he wants to be, especially rOtk. He can't get out of here. Someone falls up his man out. 6 seconds till the cooldown. There goes his stun. Next time still not be used. And now it does. Massive wasn't there. We'll watch the infest go out from the Life Stealer. He's protected inside the Dire Creep. Now he pops back out again. But it's Earthshaker for the Ancient Apparition. And rOtk chasing down Banana, the blink out from FY, able to finish off the escaping, well, Lion.
Huge play though coming out from Newbee. They force out the Massive Reward outside their base. Smart to take a fight outside because the Massive Reward isn't shooting your building, but a smart play is one thing, but the raw power of Vici Gaming just the blink initiation. Wow, he's gonna be dead! Bursted down here by Vici Gaming. The Shaggy's gonna come through, gonna ton of damage. He traces live for the support Shadow Shamans.
GG!
Who's gonna stop the Baron? Nobody will! GG comes out for Vici. And they take game 1.
That was perfect from Vici. They realized just how far they could push it. Massive force were down here, but that bet was so powerful with Radius as well as Sokuras working their way through the Raxus was going to be so easy for them, and they just kept finding heroes, and they kept finding entangles as well. Mu tried to be really aggressive, going back in with a concoction stun, but he got entangled up, locked in position, and all of a